Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's head-to-head comparison, let's take a look at the 2025 Nissan Murano Platinum and the 2025 Lexus NX350 Premium. I borrowed the Lexus from Hendrick Lexus Northlake, so take a look at their link down in the description below, as well as the full detailed reviews on both of these models. So let's start off with the MSRPs for both of these SUVs. For the Nissan Murano, these start at $40,400. In today's review, this model is just over $51,000. For the Lexus, they start at $44,700, so slightly more. However, in today's review, this model is just over $50,000. So the Nissan is more expensive, but only by less than $1,000. So let's start off with what these are powered by. The Murano has a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged engine paired to a 9-speed automatic. It pumps out 241 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque. For the Lexus, this has a 2.4-liter inline 4-cylinder turbo paired to an 8-speed automatic, and it pumps out 275 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque. Now, both of these models are all-wheel drive. The NX weighs in just over 4,000 pounds versus closer to 4,400 pounds for the Nissan, meaning their 0 to 60 times are actually going to be fairly similar at 6.5 seconds because of their curb weight difference. And then as far as fuel economy goes, the Lexus is at 21 and 28 versus 21 and 27 for the Nissan. So they are nearly identical in that aspect too. But as we take a look at the exterior styling, you'll notice that they have a big difference to them. For the Nissan, it's a little bit wider looking, a little bit taller, it seems, with the overall design and shape that it has. Now you'll notice we have a very thin set of triple beam headlights, high beams, and DRLs up front, going across the entire front end. Now this model also has a forward-facing camera, all the sensors down below, the sensor for the distance pacing too, and kind of a seamless design to it, especially with all the bodywork that you see on the sides. Now for the Lexus, this model does not have a forward-facing camera. It does have the sensor, however. There's that hourglass design for the grille, the LEDs up front, which have that distinctive DRL shape to them. There's fog lights down below with more of those trim accents too, so a completely different design. It almost looks like the Nissan is taller just because of how the hood is shaped versus on the Lexus with the lines that come down both sides. Now as we work our way to the side, wheel options can vary, but this is the setup that we have for both of these models. You'll notice with the Lexus, there's a little bit more plastic in the lower section. It was gloss black on the Nissan there, but you'll notice too, not really a fender arch for the Nissan, just some indentations in the bodywork versus that plastic. Now for the Lexus, there's only the turn signal on the mirror cap. For the Nissan, you have the turn signal and the camera. Now the Nissan also gets a full moonroof versus just a standard sunroof on the Lexus here. And as we take a step back, you'll notice that they kind of have a similar shape to them, especially when you get to the rear end where the taillight is. We have that same sweeping design that goes all the way back. The trim accent just extends on this Nissan here, going all the way to the back. We do have a two-tone design for this model too. Now up top, the wiper blade is actually tucked up behind the spoiler there. You have an LED bar that runs through the power liftgate, backup camera, all the sensors, and then this is how you gain access into the cargo space. So just push on that button there. Backup camera is located at the very bottom. Now in the back, you have quite a lot of space. There's also a little bit of storage under the floor, so you can pull this up here where you have the spare tire. You could place a little bit of items there if you needed to. You can also fold the back seats down from the back. So of course that will give you a lot more interior space, just depending on the items that you have. Now as we work our way to the Lexus, you'll notice that that trim accent stops at the point here rather than going all the way back, but it has a similar shape to it if that were to come all the way back. Now the wiper blade is mounted down below, so it's not up behind the spoiler there. We have an LED bar that runs through the back, backup camera, all the sensors as well, and then this has a little bit different of a design for the liftgate, so you have to reach underneath to open that up. It looks like it's a little bit smaller in the back here. You do get a little bit of storage underneath too. No spare though, but you have a lot of room there. You have cargo nets. You have to fold the back seats down by pulling on that tab. So you could reach it from the back if you wanted to. And with them down, that's going to give you a lot more space too. So kind of similar in the amount of space that they do offer. Now for the Nissan, you don't have a proximity door handle in the back. And then for this interior, you have the manual adjusting sunshade, Interiors will vary, of course, just depending on the colors that you would like. We almost have a body colored interior for this model. Now you only have one storage pocket, that's over on the passenger side. You do get heated seats, the vents and auxiliaries, plenty of storage down below, a nice flat surface too. And at my height, I have about 1.5 inches or so of headroom. I can sit upright and be nice and comfortable. Now right in the middle, you have the armrest, you have cup holders, a little bit of storage there, and then you have a small window there, so you can easily see though around that pillar in the back. And then when that moonroof is open, that'll give you a lot more interior lighting. Now as we work our way to the Lexus, this has a much different design. We have the proximity door handle. You have to squeeze the electronic button on the inside to release this door. Now we don't have the sunshade. We have the electronic release, a little bit of storage down below, and then window controls and lock and unlock. And then for this interior, you do have storage pockets behind both front seats, no heated rear seats. You have vents, auxiliaries down below, a little bit of a bulge in the middle there, but it's about the same. I think you have a little bit more headroom though, because it actually goes back up above my head, but it is still comfortable nonetheless. And then you have the armrest with the cup holders in the middle, and maybe a little bit smaller of a window there compared to the Nissan, but very similar to the Nissan. Now up front, since I have the full detailed reviews, I'm just going to highlight some key factors like the memory seating adjustments, power folding side mirrors, storage down below. And then as we hop into the front, we have the solid leather steering wheel. This also has paddle shifters. You have your cruise control, distance pacing, volume mode, all of those controls, and then you can even go through the gauge cluster. Now the right side is going to be fixed for this model, so you have that information, along with the tach and miles per hour right in the middle. And then on the left side, you can scroll through a good bit of vitals here, just depending on what you would like to see. So you can monitor all of this, and that's about it. But you have a good bit of info to go through. Now you have a little bit of storage, your fuel cap and trunk release, and then with the infotainment system, you have a little bit that you can go through. What I like about the Lexus system is that it's not too confusing. Basically, you have all of the vitals that you need to operate this on a daily basis. So it's not too confusing. You have a lot of standard safety features, however, and you have the heated and ventilated seats, your climate adjustments, temperatures are on both sides here, and then volume in the middle. You also get wireless charging with several auxiliaries. You even have a few that are hidden there. You do get a few different driving modes that will help modulate the throttle. And then we only have the backup camera for this model. So you have the guidelines and 2 different angles there. You have cup holders, a few other controls here, engine start stop, downhill assist, auto hold, and the e-brake there. And then you have 2 different ways to open up the center armrest. You get storage down below, of course, and then garage door buttons up top. You get a sunglass holder, and then the adjustments for the sunroof there. Here's a look at visibility. With that small window on the back, it's still pretty easy to see. And then you can easily see over that left shoulder too. So with this rear end design, which again is fairly similar to the Nissan, it's pretty easy to see. Now for the Nissan, you get memory seating adjustments too. You have the power folding side mirrors, a lot more storage, however, located down below. And this model even gets massaging seats. So that is a nice added function. You'll notice that we have a much different design for this steering wheel too. You do have paddle shifters though, and then you have a bunch of controls to go through. You have your Bluetooth and voice commands, you have cruise control settings, volume, and then the controls on the right side are what you use to go through this information here. So you can basically just go left to right, viewing all of this information. A little bit larger of a view, which is nice. You can even customize the display too. So you can change how you would like to view this, which is a little bit more customizable than over in the Lexus. So you do have a few different settings there depending on how you'd like to view it. Now on this left side, you have your steering assist. There's also the heated steering wheel, head-up display, rear liftgate, auto hold, and the e-brake. No storage though, but you have all of those adjustments. Head-up display just shows miles per hour and the speed limit sign. And then with the infotainment system, you have a good bit to go through, especially on this home screen here. And then you have shortcuts over on the left side. So you can easily get through all of this information here and even pull up all of these icons here too. And then you have heated seats, heated steering wheel you can get into within the screen there. You have air vents, volume, and power, and then you have all of your climate adjustments on this wood trim here. So just tap them, and that's how you can adjust them. You get wireless charging and some auxiliaries, a few different driving modes too. So very similar to the Lexus there. You do get the forward-facing camera and then these controls to pull up that 360 camera system. So a little bit different by using those buttons there. And then you have a lot more storage down below, along with this storage here. You have ambient lighting too, which is nice. Garage door buttons up top. You have the sunglass holder too, and then the adjustments for the sunshade and sunroof. And then probably about the same amount of visibility, to be honest, since they share a very similar rear end design there. But with the exteriors and the interiors wrapped up for the Nissan and the Lexus, let's get these out on the road and see how they drive. And behind the wheel now for the Nissan Murano, sport mode second gear, here we go. Definitely has a good bit of power to it. The paddle shifters are pretty responsive too, which is nice. But this has a much different seating position. We have the windows on both sides just to give you a little bit of extra visibility. And you kind of sit a little bit higher up, which is interesting to see. But we do have the height adjustment on the seat if you feel like you need to lower it some. But you definitely have a good outlook. Now, I have been driving this particular model for a few days now, and I think this is very nice. I get to drive a lot of other luxury brands a lot more than Nissan, so it's nice to be able to compare it, especially for a similar price, what this Nissan has to offer. It definitely gives you a really nice feel like you are in a luxury brand. Now, it rides fairly similar. I will say the luxury brands are going to be a little bit more refined feeling, but for the last couple days driving this around, it doesn't seem like it's that much more when you can get into a brand like Nissan as well. So it's very interesting to see how far I think Nissan has come to compete with some of the other luxury brands that are available. But super nice. It's a little bit larger too, so if you're looking for a little bit bigger of a vehicle, this is definitely going to check those boxes without being overly large, but it definitely has a much wider feel to it, especially from the inside too. But it's really nice. It's really interesting to see Nissan competing in the luxury brand. Very cool to see what they have and what is available for a similar cost. So behind the wheel of the Lexus from second gear and sport mode, here we go. And we are up to speed with a mild acceleration. Now the paddle shifters are surprisingly responsive. I just don't know if they will be used that often in this vehicle. This is a little bit more luxury focused, well refined, not quite as sporty as some other competitors. But it's a nice vehicle to drive. We have a great layout, seats are super comfortable. It's also quiet too. The road noise and wind noise, traffic noise is what you would expect from a luxury brand. So it's very, very nice and minimal, which is great to see. You sit kind of how you would in a smaller SUV like this too. We can't really see a lot of the hood though, which in some of the other competitors you can see the hood. So just a little bit different of a design. We do have the adjustment, however, to raise and lower this seat. So just depending on where you'd like to sit. You have a good visibility out of the front window there. And just a nice place to be. Suspension is really great over bridge bumps and things like that. It's absorbing them very well. And this would make for a great daily driver. Lexus is in the top of reliability. So if you were looking for a vehicle to own for a decade or more, this is a great option to consider with the ease of maintenance and their reliability that they've had for quite some time. So back from our test drive now with the Nissan Murano and the Lexus NX350. Honestly, both of these are going to be fairly similar. I'm surprised with how similar they are for both of their respective trims. Now the Lexus, I do feel might be a little bit more luxury focused, but for the same price, Nissan has really amped up their game to become a little bit more of a luxury focused SUV as well. So it really just depends on the options that you like. We do have some similarities between both of these, but we do have a lot of different options available for the pricing too. You can spec the Lexus to be a little bit more expensive than the Nissan. So you do have some other options that you can go with, and you have some larger trim models that you can go with the NX version too. So it really just depends on your budget and which vehicle you like more. This is my first time being around the new Murano, so I think it's a really nice update to compete with luxury brands like the Lexus. So comment down below, would you go with the Nissan or would you take the Lexus? Let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.